All right, tonight we are answering questions that you guys have left in the comments or questions that I have seen on Reddit. A little combination of the two. A little bit windy out tonight, just a little bit. But trying out this mic today for the first time. Did a couple of tests. I think it sounds all right, so we're going to roll with it. Before we get into it, you guys should subscribe. I have one more PCT video coming out, and then we're going to jump back into regular backpacking stuff, do some gear reviews and some trip videos and other good stuff like that. So if you're here because you like backpacking, I would recommend hit the subscribe button because you won't regret it. All right, now here we go. Okay, from YouTube, Vanessa Watson 1768 says, "Hey, what camera did you use on the PCT? It's such great footage and the definition is so good." Well, thanks, Vanessa. Believe it or not, I recorded the entirety of my PCT right from this very phone that's in my hands. This is the Google Pixel 7 Pro. It's all I carried and all I used. I think the footage turned out just fine as well. And yeah, I'm no cinematographer by any means, so a regular cell phone camera is good enough for me. And that's probably what I would do again. Lebowski619 said, "Question, cowboy camping in the desert, any issues with scorpions or other critters at night?" No, actually, I didn't have any issues cowboy camping with any critters that are to be worried about. I did have a couple run-ins with mice that were not my fault. They just sometimes they're at the campsites that they know people are staying at. But no issues with spiders or scorpions or snakes or anything to actually be worried about. Not to say that that can't happen. I just personally didn't ever encounter that, and I cowboy camped almost every night in the desert except for when it was freezing cold or if there was grass around, which was like twice. So, yeah. Caroline Kovac 5790 says, "Hi Phil, couple questions for you. Were there any moments you felt you were in danger?" Yes. If you didn't see my last video, I will leave it up here somewhere, but there were a handful of times that I felt I was in danger. Were there any days you felt really low on trail, and if so, how did you handle it? To be honest, there weren't actually a lot of days that I felt really low, or there weren't any days where I felt really low. There were a handful of days where I didn't feel great, but never once did I seriously consider quitting by any means. And I didn't get homesick necessarily or miss anything about normal life. It was usually just if my body was hurting, like if I was physically pretty beaten up, it would be hard to carry on, but no, besides that, mentally it was pretty straightforward, luckily. That goes back to the mental preparation piece of just making sure that you know why you're going out there and building up some mental toughness before you do that. Carolyn also asked if I had any run-ins with bears in the north. No, actually, believe it or not, I saw exactly 0 bears at all on the PCT the entire time. I saw one wooden, not statue, but little cutout of Smokey the bear, and that was it. Never saw a live bear the entire time out there. I don't think that is typically what happens, but I did talk to a couple other people who didn't see any out there either. All right, from Reddit, what would you do differently about your camera equipment? Again, nothing really. I think a cell phone worked just fine. I did start with a tripod that ended up breaking, and I never replaced it, and I kind of wish that I had. So get a good quality short tripod, like a flexible one that you can set on rocks and whatever, and carry that. Sometimes they do break. I saw a couple in hiker boxes that had missing legs. But yeah, get yourself just a small tripod in your phone, unless you're like a professional or you really want to make a super cool documentary. Yeah, your phone will be just fine, I think. Also from Reddit, are shorts okay for the Sierra, or would pants be better for that section? I didn't wear pants a single time on trail. I had one pair of like merino base layer pants, I guess, which I would wear at night and for like 10 or 15 minutes in the morning until I got too hot. But never actual normal pants. There were no issues with that. If you're glissading excessively, it might be uncomfortable temporarily. But generally, no, I think shorts, you can get away with shorts basically the whole time. But I guess if there was a place that you would want to wear pants, it would be in the Sierra, both for the snow and for the bugs. That was the other thing. The bugs were brutal when I was just wearing shorts. Pants would have been nice for the mosquitoes as well. What was your mileage per day and how did it change as your hike progressed? It really depends on the terrain, obviously, and depends how you're feeling and where you need to go and how fast you need to get there. I started off quicker than most, I would say. I started with my cousin, and we were doing 20-mile days right from the rip. So I would say on average somewhere between 23 and 26, if I had to guess. But to answer how that changes throughout, obviously you're going to get stronger, you're going to get faster, you're going to lose weight, and you're going to be excited to get to where you're going more. So up in Northern California, Oregon, I could do back-to-back 30-plus mile days and not really think twice about it. That was like probably peak hiking shape, and then after that, the terrain is harder in Washington, and my body was a little bit past its prime at that point. So yeah, you're going to get stronger. I wouldn't recommend starting with 20s. That maybe wasn't the best idea, but you just got to, listen to your body, like everyone says, and figure it out for yourself, because everyone will be different. Oh, here's one. How did your pack weight influence various decisions or strategies during the hike? It didn't. Pack weight is not something I thought about at all after I left. Even before that. Pack weight is something that I might be in the minority in, but I'm just not super concerned about it. I think you will naturally get stronger if you carry a heavier pack. You'll get used to it. Are there advantages of having a lighter pack? Yeah, there are. I'm not going to lie. But if you have things that you want to bring and they're on the heavier side, they're not super ultralight, or if you can't afford to go ultralight, or whatever the reason may be, it's really not going to affect you that much. But at the end of the day, there's going to be the tiniest, almost immeasurable difference on your fatigue levels. But like I said, if you carry a heavier pack, you're going to get used to that weight, you're going to be stronger, and it'll feel the same to you as it would if it were lighter. Obviously, you don't want to have a super heavy backpack, but as long as it's something reasonable in the traditional or less than traditional weight class, so be it. I mean, you carry as little as you feel like you need, and if that happens to be heavier, then I guess that's how that will impact your hike. But as far as planning things differently because of pack weight, no. Going back to YouTube, Nicosaurus says, I have a permit, but I'm not sure if my Y is strong enough. Still deciding if I should quit work to hike, as it's such a huge commitment. Worried I'll get sick of the hiking halfway through and regret it. Any tips on how to know if it's worth it? Nick, this is a pretty complex topic, and I wish I could just tell you, a litmus test on how to know for sure whether it's worth it or not. But that's something you just have to decide. What I would say is, if you have gone to the lengths of getting a permit and watching PCT related content on YouTube, it's probably something that you are taking semi-seriously, or something that you've been thinking about for quite a while. Everyone has different jobs of different importance, and some people have people to provide for and some people don't, and so there's another factor there to consider. But if you're by yourself and you're working a job that you don't necessarily care about, or that you could get another one of a similar level when you get back, I think I would go for it, because very rarely do you regret the things that you do. More often than not, I've found that I regret the things that I didn't try to do. So yeah, in general, I would say go for it, unless it's going to be extremely detrimental to your life. Another thing with that one too, you could start with some shorter trips, and maybe if you're doing weekends, maybe you could do a week-long trip or something like that, instead of going just headfirst into the through hiking world months on end. Yeah, start with some shorter trips, figure out if you like it. But if you've gone as far as to get a permit, I think that's a sign that you need to do it. I thought it would take longer to answer these questions, but they're either straightforward or they're hard to answer for other people. So I guess this is it. But the sun's going down anyway, so that's fine. Let me know what you guys think about the audio on this one. I just picked up this mic and I did some tests. I don't know if I'm crazy about it, but it definitely does help when it's windy. Usually I can't film outside if it's really windy, but I've noticed this definitely helps. So anyway, like I said, I got one more. I'm going to do a last minute tips and tricks for the class of 25, and then we'll get back into normal stuff. So If backpacking is your genre, being outside and enjoying the outdoors is your thing, I would highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button once again, and I appreciate you guys watching and look forward to seeing you on the next one.